back, everybody. Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith. We have an echo. Hang on. There we go. I think I got it. Maybe. There we go. Hope everyone had an awesome weekend. I know I certainly did. Boy, did the market change in a flash. We're going to talk about it right here on the stream. I thank you for all being here. Guess what, everybody? Well, we got some green. Now I'm going to show you some reasons why we got some red in here as well. We'll talk about the liquidity first. Then we'll get off into all of these request streams that come in. I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 22 plus Bitcoin, 23 coins in 30 minutes. Boy, let's make it happen. Thank you all for joining me on Crypto Before Dark. Please go give us a like. It costs absolutely nothing. Hit the notification bell while you're there. Again, absolutely free dollars. If you're watching over on X, if you're watching over on Rumble, bro, give us a repost. If you give us a repost, I'll shout you out right here midstream so everyone sees your account too, so you can maybe get some more followers along the way. And more people will see this go out to the rest of the world. More people will get to see what we do, what we say, and how we do it. I want everybody to gather as much information as they can on these live streams, which is the entire point and entire reason in why we do it. So, first quick thing, this is the only live stream this week and for next week, right? A week and a half, really. Next Thursday, I'll be back live, but I will be off on this Thursday coming up and the Tuesday following that. So this show, 2 off, and then next Thursday, I'll be back, hopefully barring any flight delays, in time to get the next live stream set up and ready to rock. We'll see. Obviously, I'll be out of town with the family, so there'll be no live streams at those particular times. No sweat, though. Of course, everything always goes haywire while Keith is on vacation. That's the way it works. Yeah, let me bump the jazz on. There you go. Yeah, that's always the way it works for Keith.
Damn.
It is what it is, though. All right, so first thing I want to show you here is a little bit of the liquidity map. What's up, by the way? Matoshi, what's up, Gavin? What's up, Cheese? Good to see you. Rope-a-dope. How you doing, brother? Over on YouTube, we got Legal Assassin. Good to see you. Gimme Zale. Win Mullet. How you doing, brother? Brother Beal, Charts Can't Lie says, don't tell my wife I'm not mowing the yard. I didn't tell her. Don't worry about it. It wasn't me. John P, what's up, my guy? Good to see you. Feels like waiting for the movie to start. I know, right? You can't leave. The plants will die, bro. Don't worry. I got someone coming to water the plants. 100%. Someone coming to water the plants. Give the cat extra cat food. The whole nine. So first things first, I want to show you the Bitcoin liquidity flow as it kind of happens here. It's just basic price action, but I want you all to see it so you can kind of understand what's happening. All right. Obviously, this weekend, we had a hell of a move up, didn't we? Right. It was nice last week. We had a good steady move up. Then this weekend came another push. That push created a CME gap, which we'll discuss in a moment. First, I want you to see where the longs and the shorts kind of piled in and made their spots. And because they made those spots in the chart, we can kind of see them. And that kind of tells us where the price is likely to go next time. All right. So as we were on our way up, we had this bit of a flat run right here sideways. Everyone can see that flat run. This bottom came in right here. As this bottom formed and the chart started to come back up, it becomes clear and evident that this is where all the longs kind of piled in to set the floor here. Great. They ran up and they slowed down. They managed to slow down up here. The reason we know they managed to slow down up here is because we had a bit of a bearish engulfing. We had a little bit of a hard time making a new high right there at that particular point. And we did what, folks? We broke trend. There was a little trend line right here. Yeah, you can see that. That little trend line right there, that green trend line that you see right there, well, it failed. And when it failed right here, this sort of locks in those shorts being in the game up there. And once that trend line's broke, those shorts get really strong. All right. It is of note that the shorts still outnumber the longs about 4-1 right now. All right. And for that reason, they're still kind of in charge. And I mean by total dollars. I don't mean by number of shorts. I mean by total dollars. There's way more short dollars out there than there are long dollars. Now, there's lots of spot Bitcoin dollars, obviously. But I'm talking about leverage plays. And those leverage plays help us see the price section in between of what's going on. There's some big degenerate trades going on right now. I'm not involved in that stupidity. I'm in the spot, and I rarely take a other futures trade here and there, or I'll take a leverage trade here and there, or maybe a margin trade sometimes. Dabble in some Forex, but that's about it. I'm not going crazy with big money, right? Anyway, once that failed, this gave us a new looking point to see, hey, remember where those shorts piled in? Those longs piled in down here at the bottom? I remember. You guys know what I'm talking about. Oh. I remember. Remember berries. So anyway, those longs piled in right here. And when those longs piled in, it gave us all a clue on where the price may end up going next. Sure enough, after that trend failed, she came straight down here and took out these longs stop losses or liquidated them. If you set a stop loss underneath here, which is what most people do, well, you got stopped out. If you didn't set a stop loss and you had liquidations down there, your ass got liquidated. This is what happens when you constantly chase the move, right? That's why I don't like to chase big green candles. I like to be in before they happen. What's up, Thor's Hammer? Good to see you. I like to be in before those big green candles happen so we don't have to worry about chasing the liquidity. Now that we've made and nuked those longs out, the next set of longs are down to about 114. And the reason I say that is if we go over to the CME chart, which is here. Now the blue in the background are the sessions. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's on hours, off hours, on hours, off hours. All right. Easier just to understand that. Don't worry about it for now. I want you to see the gap in the chart that was right here. And actually, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll change the settings here and we'll take off hours out. Let me see where it's at. I rarely even use this. Let's see. We'll do regular trading hours. There we go. All right, now you can see the CME gaps as they happen. And this was that same move up that we did. You can see it was a little more smooth and pronounced on the 1 hour on Bitcoin CME, but nonetheless, we've made that move happened. Now we got this big gap in price action right here that still hasn't been filled. And what I mean by filled is we haven't had the price come down and come back to support and close that gap. Note, we have a CME gap at the top up here as well. Interesting, huh? Right. So there's a CME gap on the bottom. There's a CME gap on the top. They likely both will close. First, it's likely that we close this CME gap at the bottom since we're already under trend. All right. We're already under the 1 hour 821 EMA. Yes, it could jump back over and get moving again, but it's more likely that the price action follows suit and goes back down to close the gap, which is why I preach against those stupid moves on the weekends that happen. When we have those weekend moves, they create CME gaps. Those CME gaps usually get closed. And when they take time to get closed, well, it takes time away from the regular trading hours, 8 to 5, that we use to make our most money. I don't want to see those weekend moves happen for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, or Solana, because those four are on the CME market. And since they're on the CME market, they technically close on the weekends. All right, don't want to see that happen. But yeah, I see Zillow. I'll try to get to it. I've already got a bunch though. We'll see if we can get to it. Closing this CME gap is crucial. Once that CME gap closes, you're kind of clear and free to run a little bit higher. It doesn't have to go all the way closed, but that is where a bulk of the long liquidity sits. Once you're past that, most of the DGen longs are gone at that point. So the shorts don't really have a target to aim for, so to speak. They don't have anybody to take out, to punch at. And since they don't have anybody to punch at, they tend to get back on their heels a little bit. Perfect. When they get back on their heels and they make this move down here to this CME gap, could go straight up from here. I'm okay with that too. You know what I mean? I'd rather not leave this gap here though. When they come down here and close this gap, you will eventually get a trend break. Let me draw that a little better for you. There you go. You will eventually get a trend break. And when that trend break happens, it's likely to come up here and get back to that gap. Or go all the way to the top and take out the shorts that came piling in, because that would be the longs target. You got punched in the mouth, you got knocked down, you stand back up and you see the other guy on the other side of the ring get back on his heels a little bit. And you go, hey, all right, here we go. We got an opportunity to fight back. If the bulls take back the power here and break this little short-term trend line, I'm looking right back up there to that 122,000 area as a liquidation barrier for shorts. Take a bunch of money out of their pockets. Now they got shorts all the way up to 140 because they got very, very large plays with a lot of margin behind them or a lot of money sitting in the back of the trade. Since they've got those back there, you need to be careful and know you very well may have to fight for a while against them, because they've been strong for quite a while now, and I kind of expect it to keep up. Unfortunate, but part of the gig. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate. You got to deal with it. Let's see. What's up, DRO? Good to see you, bro. I shorted that hammer reversal yesterday, expecting a retrace to 112. I like at least 114. I think that makes sense to call it 113. All right, so let's get to some requests. I got a bunch of them here. Like I said, a whole bunch, and my nose is itching since I went to the pool and came back. And I threw up this morning, dude. I don't know. Felt really, really bad this morning when I was driving. I had to stop and use the rest area, bro. It's crazy. All right, Velodrome. I'm sorry, this is Velo, regular Velo with the pink V.
Pause. Damn.
Not really, pause. All right, so looking at the price section here, we got a high, a higher low, and a new high. Excellent. I like the fact that it got over those previous highs back here at the beginning of May. That's nice. Put in some moving averages. What do you got? Bam. Ooh, I need to record this. So here's Velo. I like the high and the higher low. I like the higher high. Excellent. That's the short-term one. I like the fact that it got over these previous highs back here at these wicks. Excellent. Next up here is where the price action got very volatile and sort of dived off right there. Do you see that? That's the next target up here as a stopping zone. There's a bit of resistance right there. And since there's some resistance right there, I kind of expected to kind of play hardball. Note, most are not over the 200 moving average, but look at Velo. Look at Velo pushing through the 200 moving average, showing good power here. It's exactly what you want to see happen. Finally, many are starting to at least test the 200 and or break it. This is one of them. I'm super tickled with it. I've been in this for a while. I post all my buys and sales in Discord to be fully transparent with everyone. My whole spreadsheet with all my portfolio is in there. So you can see everything, the amount of coins I got, blah, blah, blah. I don't like looking at it. I've talked about that before because it makes me emotional. I don't like looking at stuff like that. It makes me emotional. It makes me make bad decisions. You're over the 821. You're over the 5100. This thing's going to keep running up here in through the 200 moving average. There's liable to be a back test here before it goes super duper high. But I do think we're good to go there. Here's the cloud. You're 4 out of 4 on the cloud. Guess what that means? That means she's off to run and play off in the weeds by itself. And since that's the case, I'm in take profit mode now. Excellent. Absolutely love to see some charts finally turn the corner here. Break that 200 and hold it, right? Hold it for the rest of the day. Give it a little back test if you like. And then we'll have some more games coming in after that. All right, Velo. All right, AMP. This is one we had last time. Look, there you go. There's some of my old bylines. Yeah, look, so I sold this in October to buy something else. And I bought it way down there. So, you know, hey, we killed it on AMP. But looking at the price section right now. All right, so over the 821, over the 50, I like that. It's kind of pinned in between the 50 and the 100, but this is more bullish than bearish. You have a bit of a double bottom right here. Can't hide that. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, I hate when sneezes build up, man. Sorry. Shoo. I like the double bottom. Excellent look. I like the broken trend. Excellent look. Problem. We got resistance. Like I said, the 50 and 100 moving average are kind of pinching the price. 200 still way up there. That would be my next target when it gets over the 100 moving average, and I think it will. This is how Chainlink looked before Chainlink made its move up. All right. So it's a similar pattern. I do think it's going to play out and have some more gains in it. Not bad at all. I noticed that this is the third one on the list, but we have to talk about it because it gets requested every single week. DAG Constellation. I'm joking, dude. Don't get pressed. Good thing I said don't get pressed, because now price is pressing into that 50-day moving average, exactly like we talked about on Thursday night. Even posted a clip about it Friday morning, explaining the same thing that I talked about on Thursday night. Thought this might happen where it runs headfirst into the 50 moving average. This isn't terrible, though. It's good that it's at least testing it and trying to get through it. I think Diego explained it pretty well by saying this thing had hit the 50 moving average like 6 times or something. This is the 6th time, I think, or the 5th time, whatever. It doesn't matter. Point is, it hasn't gotten through it yet. It is over the 821. I like that. If it gets through this 50, problem is the 100 moving average is sitting at 0.38 and the 200 is at 0.45. Call it 0.40 to 0.42. That's going to be a headache to get through. Now, I'm hoping it just gets through it because this is a coin that's dropped in market cap significantly. A lot of the hype fizzled off. You can only be influenced for so long of not making any money and not making all the magical things in the background happen before people give up on it, right? I like the fact that the lag line is over the candles. You can barely see it back there, but that lag line has crossed the candles right there. That's good. I like price getting to the cloud, but I need to see it get over the cloud. This could just reject and lollygag around here as well. If you put both in there with the moving averages, you'll kind of see that there's a big gap between the 50 and 100, and that cloud is dead in between the two, right at about 4 cents flat. That's why I'm harping on that area so much. You've also got R1 at 0.42, which I believe lines up on the R2 at 0.45, lines up with the 200 moving average. Again, that number makes sense. You're dead under the pivot right now, which is also the 50. Playing hardball, give it some time. Sucks. It's not ready like the others. So since it's not ready like the others, it's only a 30% buy. Yeah, it's a 30% buy right now, or 33%. Since it's 2 over the 8 EMA, you'll get an 821 cross soon. Need to see it get over the 50. Then it'll be 3 out of 3 on the Reaper strategy, which would be better than it has been in a long time. That was a decent clip, I think. That was a decent clip. We didn't go too far down the wormhole on DAG, but we will on everybody's favorite XRP. We kid because we love. I'm in XRP. Don't get pressed, kids. I'm on your team. All right, so over the 50, 8, 21, 200, 100, everything. I love it. You've gotten past this local high, like I talked about before, that 260 barrier. It finally broke, which is excellent. That actually broke on Friday after the stream. Love it. Ran up to right at about $3, where I told you the next level was of contention. Nice round $3 level. Here's the kicker. We are red today, but I don't think it's the end of the world. You've got a golden cross coming up, and the 100's about to break through the 200. These moving averages are flipping around in the correct posture very, very rapidly. That tells me that the volatility we got is real. I like that. I like the fact that it did make a short-term higher high on the weekly, not an overall higher high. So you can see there low, high, higher low, higher high, but overall it's still a lower high. All right. Just trying to fight our way back up there. Super tickled with that. If we put our fibs on there that we've had on there before, I'll show you again though. And it'll kind of give you an idea of where I think the price is going. So we're still in Sniper's Alley. $3 is going to play a little bit of hardball here. Part of the gig. If it does fade back, it only is going to fade back into the golden pocket here between here and 260-ish. Is a good place for it to rest and take its time to think about if it wants to go up again. That next push, I do think, gets us in the $4 to $6 range, though. Will there be one after that? I mean, possibly, but we shouldn't go throwing fishing lines out in the water and begging. That's not how it works, right? Let's be concentrated and prioritize where we look and where we hunt. This is one of those that is a monster market cap. It's only gotten bigger recently, so the gains will be a little bit more limited than some of the others. You're going to see a lot of BS about $10,000 XRP and $589 XRP and this, that, and the other. Brother, they've been saying that since 2017. That's yet to happen. All right. I've been around for it the whole time. So don't tell me it hasn't. I've been here 100% hearing all the BS the whole time. That's how I got started in all this. So I like the fact that it's improved greatly. That's a good thing. Told you my price target's there. One step at a time. Again, a slowdown here to 260 to 270 is not the end of the world. It's all right to find new buyers on the elevator. It can come to halfway down and then go to the penthouse, right? Cool with that. So let's give it a little bit and let it keep trying to work. All right. Say coin. Here's the killer. What's up, Ariana? How you doing, man? Shout out to X. We got 250 people watching over there. We got 30 on YouTube, and we got several over on Rumble as well. What's up, Matoshi over on Rumble? Shout out, dude. Let's go, bro. Again, if you guys will repost this, I'll be happy to shout you guys out as you do so. Of course, I want everybody to get their due diligence. No due diligence. I want everybody to get their 2 cents worth. That's what I meant. SEI USD. Let's pull up the Bitstamp pair. This is a nice and clean chart. All right, so as you see, we broke the 200, back tested it, and since forth cracked loose several more green candles in a row. That's a new local high. Love to see it. Very tickled about it. Let's find an older chart. All right, we'll use the MEXC one. It usually has most of the data on there. Just got to ignore the ridiculous wicks that it'll throw sometimes. You know, sometimes you got to overlook those. But other than that, it's a fairly good chart. All right, let me pull this down. I used to use all Binance pairs, but Binance kind of fell by the wayside when they got so much heat, right? Stopped listing a lot of new stuff. And as such, a lot of the coins went to other platforms. So it's easier to chart them on the other platforms than it is on this one. You know what I mean? So anyway, into the golden pocket here. I actually bought Say a couple days ago. And today, one of my first chances to, guess what, take profits. I got paid today. It was lovely. I haven't been able to take profits in a hot minute, damn. Let me tell you what, dude.
Bruh.
It feels wonderful to take profits. I moved that money over into something else that I already had, increased my position there. Very tickled with that. I bought a good setup with great setup gains. That's excellent. That's exactly what I'm looking to do all the time. Throw a little alley-oop to myself. All right, so I didn't sell it all. I only sold a portion. That's what I harp all the time, folks. Sell a portion. You don't have to sell it all if you don't want. You can sell 5%, 60%, 3%, 90%, 1%, your choice, right? I took what I thought I needed to take, got some of my money back, and dispersed it elsewhere. Seen some really good setups, and because of that, I wanted to get the pieces of it that I could. Don't want to miss out on the action sometimes, you know what I mean? It's not a FOMO thing. It's just spread it out and make sure I hit as many check marks as I can. It's up against the weekly 100 moving average. You can barely see it right there, but it is there. So this level is going to play a little bit of hardball. Part of the reason I took profits on it, okay? Daily is overbought. Warning. All right, you see what happens when it goes overbought before. It falls off pretty precipitously. So be prepared for that. It's not the end of the world. It's a pretty good fib line for this thing to stall out and take profits off a little bit. No big deal. I get it. So bear with it and give it some time. I think we're going to turn the corner here. It's had a really good run already. Ondo. All right. So here's Ondo. Been charting this one particularly closely the last few days. What's interesting is I actually slipped over this when I forgot about it when I was going to try to buy the bottom. Oh, I dropped my ink pen. I was going to try to buy the exact bottom here. And I actually slipped up and missed it and bought other stuff and completely blanked on it. And I had already planned to buy the bottom. It's all right. It worked out, though. I still got in at a pretty good price, all right? I like the way this thing has broken trend, as you see by that dotted line right there on these fibs. See that? That goes all the way back to the top in December. And there's the bottom in June. And here's started to change character. Got a bit of a double bottom. You broke the trend. And now you're aiming for the 200 moving average at about $1 flat. Beyond that, there's a fib line also right there at around $1, so that confluence area makes sense. I do think it's got more in the tank from there, though. All right, if it can get past that, 50 fib at $1.15, golden pocket from 130 to 150, I think that's the key number there. So 150, $1.50 makes more sense than $1 in the long run. If it gets by that, we get the Sniper's Alley. We're testing near $1.75 to $2. On a breakout, if things go crazy here and we get a breakout and this thing prints and goes wild, $3 to $5 seems logical here. I got hopes for Ondo. I added to it. I like the look. I like the hook right there. I like it over the moving averages. Also note it's still not overbought. Still got room on the RSI. MACD has a clean break and sweep up. A lot of buy volume there. I'll take it. Ori chain. All right, here's Ori. Now, thank you, Frank. Good to see you, brother. Mr. New York, he said. Appreciate the shout out, brother. Frank, Mr. New York, has reposted. Everybody else give me a repost here, and we'll say everybody else's name. There's 400 people watching this on X right now, 30 people over on YouTube, and a few people over on Rumble. That's our alternative streaming platform. If you don't like YouTube and Rumble, you can jump, or YouTube and X, you can jump over to Rumble and watch it there. It's uncensored there, by the way. All right. Yeah. Asia, London, heavyweight, US. Yep. Session times. It's very important to understand those session times and know that things change rapidly. I don't know if I have time to do AXS, Rice. I already have a whole bunch on the list, and I try to get them in before we do the live streams, before they start. I like the move here on ORI chain, still aiming for 378, which is roughly around where that 200 moving average is, between 375 and $4. All right, that's also a fib line at 382 right there. It's over the 821, 50, and 100, just like Ondo. Still not overbought, just like Ondo. MACD going up with good volume, just like Ondo. If I flip out to the weekly here, you'll see that we're still in the wait a minute zone. So there's a little bit of caution there, right? It might take a little bit to get through that. Your moving averages are bunched up right here around $5.89 to $6. $5.89. Nah, I'm just screwing. That's an XRP thing.
Gotcha, bitch.
I'm just playing around. Maybe $5.89 to $6 makes sense right in there. That those group of moving averages and the 50 fib give confluence to show a likely area of price action. I think that happens. All right. I think it's going to get there. From my buy line, that's a great win. I'll be more than tickled with that. We'll see from there. But for now, she still keeps chugging along, and for what it's worth, looks pretty good. RBNT, this one's been talked about heavily with Cheese in our Discord. Ratcliffe, one of our moderators, he's talked about this one a ton, and for good reason. Look at the breakout on RBNT. It had a really, really ugly chart pattern here. It was terrible. But since then, we've jumped over the 50, under the 50, and now trying to get back over the 50 again. You can see the 100 moving average in here causing a lot of trouble. It's all good. This thing has, listen here, folks, 160% to the 200 moving average. 160% to the 200 moving average if it goes straight there right now. Now, obviously, that may not happen. It may trickle around here and take its sweet time, but it has a lot of gains available there. I've been watching it pretty close. I haven't bought any. I've already got positions in other stuff. I didn't want to move out of what I was already in and take on more stress. But there's several people in our Discord who have bought this one. Cheese has talked about it a lot. I'm not sure if he's still got his big long running on it. Do you, Cheese? You still got your long running on it? If you're still watching. I don't know if you're still watching or not. Oh no, the chat quit. Oh, that sucks. Let's see if I can get it to work again. Yeah, it's still there. Okay. So they're still there. It just, the X stream dropped and came back up. Shout out to the people who reposted it. I think, let me see who reposted it. Crypto Sunrise. What's up? Appreciate you guys. Frank. Hey man. Ripple Van Winkle did it. Appreciate that, brother. Crypto Con, thank you, sir. Gavin, thank you. Matoshi. And of course, Cheese over there. Killer Smile. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. That's how you say it in the South. Appreciate it. Pause?
Pause.
Yeah, probably pause. All right. So, what's up, Crypto Big D? Good to see you, brother. So let's go off to the next one. All right. We already did RBNT. Get my buttons correct over here. SPX. This one was requested over on X, I believe. Let's look at here. All right. So we watched this one a little bit in the Discord too. Really, really nice. It's got a bit of an equal high here. It hasn't broken through just yet. All right, I do think it's going to go. This is a big cup and handle pattern. I do think eventually it'll break out of this. It's over the 821, 50, 100, and 200. I don't like the fact that it didn't break out yet. But other than that, this is a really, really sick setup. Might take a little while to turn the corner here. But if you look at the weekly, we clearly have a downtrend and an uptrend breakout. That's nice. So if we pull back a little bit, we can see 3 to 6.5. Makes total sense for this thing to get up there. That's 100 to 250%. Not bad. LTX. LTX, is that on a DEX? It looks like it. Let's see if I can get it pulled up. Let me see if I can get it pulled up. And then we'll see. LTX. I guess this is it. No, that's not it. I'm not sure about LTX, brother. I don't know what that is. This might be it, but there's no market cap or volume in this at all. Seems like a scam. Maybe it ain't. Yeah, that looks like a dead coin. I can't do that one. That looks a little too scammy. We'll avoid that one. We'll do the other ones you requested. Fair enough? I think that's fair enough. Syrup. I try to put scams or give them any, I try not to ever give any credence to any scams that pop up on here. I really hate that. I hate that we ever got involved with some stuff. While I made a ton of money off some stuff and I never dumped on anybody's head or anything like that, while we made a ton of money on stuff, I really hate that people got stuck in it and involved in it and got their heart set on it. You know what I mean? I never intended for that to happen. So I try not to give any free press to scam. So syrup, I don't like the fact that it's failed the 821 and 50. Not exactly great. We should get some back tests in here on this 50 moving average. And I do think when it back tests that 50, we'll have a little bit more down in the tank, likely coming down to the 100. If it gets back over that 821.50, it can continue to print back up toward that 1.618. But for now, this one is a no. Solana. All right. I haven't made a clip on Solana in forever, so let's do that now. Solana underneath the 150, the 50, 100, and 21 EMA are all under the price. That's good. 8 EMA under the price. That's good. The only thing it's not over is the 200 moving average. If you saw a minute ago, I showed you Velo. This one right there, you see that? Broke through the 200 moving average after testing it a little bit. I want to see the same thing happen here for Solana. Now I have this box here, this vertical rectangle. That vertical rectangle represents a Fibonacci retracement line horizontally, not vertically, all right? And we are right at one of the areas of interest where this thing should have some price action coming in one way or another. I've already marked this area thinking that it might happen. I didn't buy any more Solana. I bought other stuff, but I have started to think about rotating out of some of my Bitcoin into altcoins because I've got so much Bitcoin. I thought about rotating out of some of it and buying some other stuff. You know what I mean? Just to try to kind of play it a little bit riskier, but still maintain some stability. I don't want to buy a chart that isn't a buy. And plus, I've been charting stuff against Bitcoin to try to kind of see where the best spot might be to get in. Still under the 200 here and still against this trend line. I want to see it push up and get loose here because once it gets over this 200, I think we're going up here to this $200 area. Beyond that, I pull up the weekly here. You see it's still stuck under the 50 weekly, which also happens to be the daily 200, right? Dead stuck under that. Once it gets past here, man, come on, get loose to 200, retest that previous all-time high. And if we pull some price action fibs on this, we can see that this actually might be a decent idea to swap from Bitcoin to this. You can see up here, 1272, 1414, 16.8, $600 possibility here for Solana if we can get loose of this current price action hold up that we're in right now. There are also other take profit fibs up here that we could hit, but I don't want to get on the hopium train on those just yet. Let's stick to the short-term stuff. All right, break that weekly 50 and we can hunt back toward the $200 and $260 area for Solana, and I think eventually it will get there. All right, render was requested multiple times. Did you believe that? I got to spell it the whole way, don't I? They changed their ticker. Oh, by the way, there's been several cryptos that have changed their ticker in the last few months to try to get some better marketing. It's purely a marketing gimmick, changing their ticker to try to take away the negative connotation with it and put a different connotation with the better ticker. I don't think it's going to work out for them, but that's what they're doing. So render, you got the clear downtrend here. You are holding on to the 200 moving average after failing it. That's good. Still hasn't broken out yet, but I do think it will break out. When it breaks out, I like that 550 area where the moving averages are to slow it up a little bit before it really gets off kicking. Most of these have got out of the hole who sat on the 200 before, kind of worked their way out of the mud, and I think render will eventually do that. Once it gets past 550, you can look for $10. Breaking $10 is Sniper's Alley. That's going to be tough. If it doesn't break Sniper's Alley at first, it may do it later, and an upward target would be the 18 to 31 area, with 31 being a cap for now. We'll see. What's up, Terry? Shout out to Terry, bro. Out in the Tennessee Valley. Thrill. We haven't looked at this one in a long time. All right, this is a gaming platform coin. You can run nodes and stuff. It's kind of like a Kmart version of Gala nodes. And I still have a Gala node, right? But, you know. It still makes me money. It still prints. I still leave it be. Render also did a coin change. You need to swap render for. Yeah, you can do it right there on MEXC or KuCoin, though. You can do it on the exchange. I think they actually do it for you, unless you have the tokens held in an off-site wallet. You gotta send them back and change them and stuff. But similar sentiment here with Thrill. You've tried to come off the bottom on the weekly. I like it. Looking at the daily chart here, 200 moving average, clean hit, just like Velo you saw earlier, just like Solana that you saw earlier. Velo pushed through this. Can this one do it immediately? Warning, it might take a little bit. Look how overbought this thing is. I think a pullback is in order. It doesn't have to be a monster pullback, but a fair and nominal retrace kind of makes sense here, just to gather more buyers to try to make another move up. Is a decent spot though. Problem is it's likely to reject it first. You're likely to get a little bit of more chance to buy, a chance lower here. These are the kind I like to take profits on because it's likely they reject. Doesn't mean you have to. It's just more take profit than it is buy. ACH. This came from Discord. Shout out. I'm gonna have another sneeze in here. I can feel it. Nose is tickling. Maybe just one. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. So ACH here, over the 50, over the 8, over the 21, fighting, and I like it. Can you get through the 100 moving average? I said 0.22. Beyond that, 0.24 to the 200. Those are both going to cause a little bit of a traffic jam. I don't expect it to immediately push up through them and get through them real fast. I don't think that makes a ton of sense for that to happen. I do think they'll slow down and get caught in the chop a little bit. 630 people watching on X, by the way. That's 700 total. Bro, let's go. That's the new high for the year. Hell yeah, y'all. What's up? Let's go. That's awesome. Appreciate the hell out of y'all. Anyway, flip out to the weekly real fast so we can see the bigger price action. You got a ton of moving averages in the way, sort of holding up the progress on the train here. Going to take a little bit to get over that, but once it does, you'll have that big sprint for it. All right, so until now, you're still over the 821.50. That's a 3 out of 3 Reaper strategy buy. I'd like to see it break the 100 and 200 to prove it. They're going to cause this traffic jam. Once they get through that, like I said, we'll see. VT. That's VeChain, in case you guys have lived under a rock for a while. VeChain is a mega coin. They sponsor the UFC. You see that stuff plastered everywhere. The official blockchain of the UFC. All right, whatever. Anyway, there's our previous high. Here's our previous low. You can see right there, we broke out of this downtrend that we were in. As we've broken out of the downtrend, we're playing around, just like you saw earlier with some coins, with the 50 and 100 moving average kind of pinch that's going on right there. This will break. And when it breaks, the 200 moving average is my target. That's up near Sniper's Alley at about 3 cents flat. Seems like a fair place to try to take some profits. Shout out to Roast Beef, bro. Love your content. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, sir. My man.
What the hell is even that?
I didn't mean to hit a bell. I meant to have some new sound effects, but I screwed up and didn't have them. So let's give you the hawk tour.
You gotta give him that hawk tour and spit on that thing.
There you go. I don't know, dude. I'm being stupid. But I like this look. I'm already in VET, and I already have a sizable position in it, so I'm gonna let this ride out. I like the idea of taking profits at around 3 cents. Not a ton, but some profits at 3 cents. All the moving averages on the weekly are bearing down this spot as well. I think it's probably the safe play. Now, I don't know what I'll buy yet, and I need to think that out before I do it, but there's never a bad day to take profits. And VET looks pretty good. 200 moving average will make it even better. All right, CRV, we're getting there. I'm almost done. So we'll get through these last couple, and then we'll be out of here, fellas. CRV, weekly, absolute rip. I love it. I'm already in this one heavy. Over the 8, 21, 50, 100, 200, all the moving averages are balled up. Price is ripping. You are in Sniper's Alley. Be careful. Next stopping point around 0.81, that 382 fib. But getting through that, you have nothing in the way to stop it other than the weekly 200 at about $1.10. And that is way up here. So short-term breakout. Like it. Short-term price action up. Like it. Fib lines line up. Like it. I think she's going to get that 81 cent done. And beyond that, there's a possibility it goes all the way to $1 to $1.20. Would be wonderful for me on CRV. I'm here for it. I hope you guys are here for it too. Would love to see that. ADA. By the way, you can notice, everyone, I never tell anybody what to buy or sell. I just chart it. I tell you what I think the price is going to do. You guys make up your mind on what you want to do. I don't buy or sell for anyone. Everything that you see me do is my money and my money only. I don't play around with people's hopes and dreams. That's your job. All right. All right. So ADA, you rejected the 200 moving average over the 50, 821, and 100 moving averages. You did reject. Like I said, when these targets get hit, these are good opportunities to skim some profits and maybe roll it back in a little bit later or buy something else that you've been eyeing. Once it gets through here, next targets are all the way up here for Sniper's Alley at about $1. Why I say that is there's no other moving averages to really stop this thing from going any farther, just price action, just some resistance, and that's pretty typical. So once it's through the mess here on the daily, gets over that 200 moving average, I like it to get up toward $1 up here where 786 is, way up high right there. 3, 4 more, XMR. All right, XMR did indeed recently break back over the 821 and 50, so you're a 3 out of 3 Reaper strategy buy. You're not overbought. Careful though, is this going to go sideways on us? I think that's a solid possibility because she had such a heavy run up. Though in a very ugly weekly candle right now. I don't like the lower high, but I do like all the moving averages getting crossed. So baby steps here. Be very careful on this one. I'm iffy on it. I'm going to put a star beside it because I'm iffy on it and I don't want to forget. Uniswap. This is one that's been absolutely ripping ass. Look at that thing go. Through the 200 moving average. Back tested it. Lovely. You're over the 8 EMA. You're pinned between the 8 EMA and the 50 fib. Let it work and do its thing. You're going to have a golden cross here in a few days. That's a good thing. Weekly wise, you're over the weekly moving averages. So only thing to slow this thing down will be some resistance and price action, but that's all the way up there at 12 to 15 bucks for Uniswap. I do think it gets up there. ICP. All right. I haven't done an ICP update in a while, so we might as well record it. All right. Let's pull up a cleaner chart. I don't have any drawings on. There we go. All right, so weekly wise, you're still in the wait a minute zone, still way down at the bottom of price action. It's not a terrible thing. It's more of an opportunity, but I would like to see it get its ass in gear and move a little bit here. Over all the moving averages except the 200, so that 200 becomes the target. Also, there's a 236 fib right there, about 638 to 640. I think that's a likely target, a likely area of confluence. All right, stepping out a little bit, looking at pivots. You're over the pivot line. I love that. That's a good thing. Cloud, you're dead in it right now. So you have lag line over the candles and over the cloud. That's good. You have conversion line over baseline, blue over red. That's good. Price, almost over the cloud, not quite, and you're still red on the end. So you got 2 out of 4 here on the cloud. Better than none. All right, so it has improved. You're not overbought, so there's room for this thing to improve. MACD has increased volume. Green, now it's started to fade off a little bit here in the last couple of days, but that can change if we get one more green volume bar in there. That'll change that. I think there's room to move here. I'm already in ICP pretty heavy. I'm going to stick with it. It's a lot of trash for it to get through. I will openly admit that. Look at all the weekly moving averages up here. It's going to have to battle, right? Can it get through it? Yeah, a lot of other ones have. A lot of other ones are testing them as well. Baby steps. We'll see one move at a time, all right? All right, one more here and then we're done because we're already over time. Zeal. Haven't done Zilliqa in forever, but here we are, right? Who would have figured? Not me. Not in a million years. Anyway, we're over everything except the 200. 200 starting to bear down. That's at about 013. Pivot lines, you're well over the pivots. You're into R1 and R2 here, which is good. That shows us price action is fighting for its position. Still stuck in the cloud. That's not the best ever, but it could be worse. You could be under it. You've got 3 out of 4. Lag over the candles. That's good. Green cloud on the end. That's good. Conversion over the baseline. That's good. Only problem is the price is still stuck in the cloud. That needs to be over the cloud. RSI, you got plenty of room to go up or be nominal. Whatever it wants to do here is fine. MACD came in really hard right there, but started to taper off last couple of days. A little bit of divergence right here between blue and orange. That tells you the price might slow down a little bit here and gather, but I like the hammer candle. Several hammer candles popping up all over the place. You love to see it. I really like the improvement of price action almost across the darn board. 758 people over on X. We hit 50 over on YouTube. That's 800 people plus Rumble. Folks, round of applause. 100% didn't plan on that many people being on here. We're just a small account. We always will be. You know what I mean? We don't shield. I only post charts. I don't tell anybody what to buy or sell. I hope you've been paying attention, and I hope you've been watching. I hope you get as much as you can from all these live streams. Please remember, whop.com/team786. It's half off, and the first month is free. Costs you absolutely nothing. First month, you can cancel anytime you'd like. But if you want to learn more about how we find, take profits, if you want to learn more about why we buy and sell and do what we do, jump in and give us a holler. Thank every single one of you for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here. I appreciate that. Honestly, dude, it means a ton to me. All right, make the best of your todays, the worst of your tomorrows. Let's have a better day every day, and let's strive for improvement, shall we? Last but not least, if anybody else told you today, Keith will tell you, Keith loves you, every single one of you, bro. It's all love from me, no hate. I appreciate you guys being here. No stream Thursday, no stream next Tuesday, next stream all the way next Thursday at 11 p.m. if I'm off the plane and back home in time. Y'all be good. I'm out. Sky's the limit. See y'all, man. Peace.